Okay, gang, we're going to do this one. Let me just write down the sine formula for a minus. Alright, so what they're asking is that you evaluate 17 pi over 12 without a calculator. They're giving you the breakdown. So this equals to this. So they're giving you a breakdown that you can do without a calculator. So it's one of those standard angles, either one of the two triangles or the unit circle. This is U, this is V. So you're going to see me put it into the formula. I'm just going to write it below because it's going to expand. So you're going to see me put this into here. This is U, this is V. Okay, and then you're going to see me fill in the values. I'm just first going to draw the diagram. So what I'm going to do right now is actually the most important step, and this is, I think, where the students get, in general, get stuck. So when you're doing this, you actually want to draw both these angles, okay? Alright, so you're going to see me draw them now. So I have two angles. One of them is 9 pi over 4. So that's equivalent to saying that's 2 1/4 pi. So when I draw it, I've got to go 1 pi, 2 pi, 1/4 pi. So that's 2 1/4 pi. And the reference angle always goes from the terminal side to the horizontal. So this is the reference angle here. So I can see, just looking at this, if this is 1 pi, 2 pi, 1/4 pi, 1/4 pi is actually the reference angle. Pi over 4, 45 degrees. So that's your 1, 1 radical 2. The other thing you want to note when you're doing this is the plus or minus of the trig functions, meaning that, like in quadrant 1, cosine of theta is positive, sine of theta is positive, tangent of theta is positive. In quadrant 1, you want to also note that the trig signs are all positive here in quadrant 1. Alright, so then the second angle here is 5 pi over 6. 5 pi over 6. Alright, 5 pi over 6 will bring you about here, like this. Alright, so again, the reference angle is always from the terminal side to the horizontal. Alright, so if this is pi, you're short, right? If you went 5/6 of pi, you're short 1/6 of pi, or that's equivalent to 30 degrees. So if you're across from 30, that's a 1. Across from 60, there's radical 3. This is a 2. And then also, again, you have to make note of what the signs are. So in quadrant 2, the cosine is negative, the sine is positive, the tangent is negative. You really just need the sine and the cos, but you have to take account to what the plus or minuses are. Alright, so when you see me fill this in, I'm referencing these graphs, okay? This is the most important thing here. Alright, so sine of 9 pi over 4. So I'm going to go over here, 9 pi over 4, we want the sine of this. So in quadrant 1, the sine is positive, and the sine will be the opposite over the hypotenuse. So remember, when you're using reference angles, you need to use the sides of the triangle plus the sine, meaning the plus or minus. Okay, cosine of 5 pi over 6. So now I'm going to come over here. So first of all, I'm in quadrant 2, so this is negative. Cosine would be radical 3 over 2, adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, now I need cosine of 9 pi over 4. So I need cosine of this. Cosine in quadrant 1 is positive. Cosine here would be adjacent over hypotenuse, 1 over radical 2. Alright, then I need sine of 5 pi over 6. It's this one. Sine is positive in quadrant 2. Sine would be opposite over hypotenuse, 1/2. Alright, so really that is the most important step, I think, right there. Alright, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to rationalize this. So, I'm just rationalizing, it's just a little easier. So I rationalize this guy. I'm going to rationalize this guy. Alright, now I'm going to multiply negative radical 6 over 4 minus radical 2 over 4 because of that negative. Okay, so you can factor out the radical negative 2 if you want. I don't want to. I'm just going to write it like this. I like this format the best, but if you want to pull out the common factor of radical 2, go right ahead. Alright, so that is the sine. Now let's do the cosine. So let me just get another piece of paper here. Okay, so we're going to do this again, but now for the cosine. So cosine of u, we actually need cosine of u minus v. Now remember, the signs are opposite for the cosine, so don't get confused by that when I write this. I'm not making a mistake. Since this is negative, I actually have to put a positive here. Okay, it's not a mistake. That's the formula. Alright, so now let's start to do it. So we're going to do cosine of 17 pi over 12. And again, that's breaking down into the 9 pi over 4 minus 5 pi over 6. This again is u and v. You're going to see me fill in that formula. You're going to see me fill in this formula here. Now, we already did all the hard work. Oh, I wrote the steps too fast. Didn't realize. Hold on a second. That's too fast. Alright. Got to put it into the formula. So, cosine 9 pi over 4, cosine 5 pi over 6, opposite sine, sine 9 pi over 4, sine 5 pi over 6. Alright. You know, since we did all the work already, let me just copy it from what we did already, because we already know what these values are. So, for instance, sine of 9 pi over 4, we already figured out was radical, positive radical 2 over 2. We already figured out this was positive radical 2 over 2. Okay, cosine of 9 pi over 4, we already figured out that that was positive radical 2 over 2. Cosine of 5 pi over 6, we already figured out that was negative radical 3 over 2, and then sine of 5 pi over 6, oh sorry, is 1/2. Alright, I hope you guys can still see. Alright, now let me multiply. I might have to turn off my phone, it keeps beeping. Okay, so this, alright, radical 6 plus radical 2 over 4. Alright, and then that's the other one. That is your cosine. Alright, gang, that's it. That's the two of them. I'll catch you. Bye-bye.